Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your daily energy check-in. Today we're gonna do a classic read. I'm so happy to be here. Missed another couple of days, I think. But you know, sometimes you need that time for yourself, and I keep talking about all the big transits that are happening right now, and we have more upcoming big dates, especially next Friday when we have full moon, and it's gonna be a super moon. And it's also when we have the lunar eclipse, full lunar eclipse, and it's also when Mercury retrograde starts. And yet it's a little bit spread in time, so depending where you are, it might be like 13th, 14th, 15th. Check your times, but for the most of us, it's going to be on the 14th, and it's a big deal. It's a lot, and there's already a lot happening as we are approaching that day, and may I say, the eclipse season altogether. So today I brought the Beyond Lemuria deck, one of my favorites, but I don't use it very often, so you can consider this is a special occasion. And we're not even doing eclipse reading yet. And what I want to do next week is, like, the next month or so for me is going to be actually pretty busy. And then I'm going on a trip for a couple of weeks, and that's going to be very unpredictable. Just saying, you know, that I may be popping in and out here and there, and you know, I love doing these public readings for you guys, but sometimes I just don't have capacity for those, and especially if I don't have enough personal readings to support me, then I'm focusing on other projects entirely. So if you want to see me here more, donate to the channel. There is info in the description box, or of course you can order a personal reading. There's also info on that below. Email me or go to my website and order one in the shop section. Alrighty, with all that said, let's get started and see what's going on with those twins. If you haven't seen the latest episode of Mindfully Awake, please do. I believe I have linked it to the Friday reading. So I did do reading on Friday, just missed one day. It was about surrendering. It was about finding the flow and following the flow. How can you find it if you're struggling? And sometimes it's not that we don't really know what it's like I have no idea what you're talking about. We do, but sometimes because of what life throws at us, maybe something coming up for us as part of our inner work, it's just really difficult to get to that space, because like your brain knocks you out right away. It doesn't even let you get there. So yeah, I'm giving you, in that episode, I'm giving you some practical tips and techniques on how you can work through your body, for example, to initiate that. Sometimes that's the way, is it a workaround? Yeah, I guess it's a workaround. If your brain doesn't allow it, then you can just bypass it. So anyway, if you missed it but you want to catch it, there is a post in the community tab, or you can just go to the playlist Mindfully Awake that's in the description box, and that episode will be on the top. Alrighty, so, and of course don't forget to click the like button, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and welcome. So feminines, you've got the Ether card. I mean, what else could it be? And it's number 11, you got it. The seamless, unspeakable. That's what we like to hear and to see, right? Honestly, to me, it's part of the flow process. Like, you don't really connect to ether easily without it being the seamless, unspeakable, and without being in the flow. I think there's something happening with my aroma lamp, so sorry, I'm just gonna check on it quickly. I'll be right back. Good call. Anyways, let's see what the book says about the ether. The seamless, unspeakable. It doesn't have the divination message because it's part of the kind of the elements and the aspects of our reality. So I'm just gonna read some themes and definition here. So the themes for ether are too elusive and mysterious to define, and knowing without words, the spaces in between, or life force energy. In Chinese traditional medicine, it will be called qi. In Taoism, it would be te or de. So what may be perceived as the endless black nothingness is actually the illuminated eternal, the core that all our fears may be peeled back to. When we step down through the darkness, we realize it is only a short distance away from the white void at the center of creation and heaven. Herein lies the feeling that we may have been striving our whole life to meet, and yet simultaneously, subconsciously running from. In this place of graceful surrender, we may know we are held and allow ourselves the spaciousness to drop deeper into the experience of our existence. And remember that this will be very, it's the unspeakable because it's hard to put it in words. And imagine our brain that operates in those concepts. And yeah, some of them are abstract, some of them are kind of symbolical. But, it's still some kind of definition. So it's not easy for our brain to parse this kind of information. And it might seem like nonsense, it might seem scary even, right? Like, am I going crazy? Am I hallucinating or something? But there is a lot of depth to it and a lot of precious information. So when you have those experiences, and we can talk about it for a couple of hours, just like what kind of experience those could be. But when you are there, when you're connecting, it's important to note all the details and nuances. And if it's possible, to record them for yourself so that you can go back, or you can continue unfolding that story with your conscious mind afterwards. Because there will be part of your unconscious that will get the message in that moment anyway, but it brings it to a completely new level when you connect it to your conscious mind, and it becomes a truth for you that you want to connect to, that you understand needs to be told. For the masculines, we have card number 35. It's luminescence, in 2 words. Luminescence. I love that heart space that is clearly full of charge even. It looks like an electric charge and connects to her hands. She's got wings. Like, there's a lot going on there, honestly. For this one, we should have the divinatory meaning here. So it is about self-love, light shining in the darkness, heart-centered living, so heart over head, like we like to say in tarot world. Accepting your shadows is the flip side of your strength, so vulnerable, wide open heart, authentic, heartfelt needs. Consider the parts of yourself you may not be accepting at this point, divine masculines. What could that be, I wonder? You may be experiencing an inner dissonance due to what you are trying to push away. This card is about self-love. That is the deep, compassionate, unconditional love of self that brings you into wholeness. Luminescence means the essence of light. There is nothing that makes us shine more than a heart that is full of love. You can shine through the shadows most gracefully when there is no fear within. Accept your shadows so that they can more easily resolve. Allow more light and love inside and out of your world. Remembered about Inside Out for some reason. But by the way, a good animation movie to watch if you're looking for something, especially for the whole family, that is a good one. And the second part, I think because it's touching upon kind of puberty, maturity, those times, and then obviously the emotions are more complex, and there's more there about like this concept of self-worth, self-love, in my opinion. So Inside Out 2 is what I recommend. I think it's running on Disney Plus, and I'm sure you can rent it for a little bit of money on other streaming platforms as well. You know, could be fun for the kids and insightful for the adults. I'm using the Muse Tarot today. bringing in color and art. I mean, it's more than art, but it is very intricate how they do it. Look at the Justice card. And speaking about peeling off the layers, right? It's like discovering the true you. It's not always easy, and it's a lot of times it's painful, one way or the other, but it is very gratifying. And I feel like we see like justice is a lot about karmic unfolding too, and in that karmic unfolding we understand better ourselves, also understand the order of the world, you know, how do those universal laws operate in specific examples, and that's when you understand them a lot better. The law of karma specifically, the law of the big rebalancing, you know, of how the universe strives to go back to neutrality in everything. That's it. It's not, it doesn't have emotion behind it. It's not actually judging like, do you deserve this or not? Did you do it on purpose or not? It's like, really, it's a quantum physics perspective that operates with the energy frequency and vibration and wants to balance and neutralize. Knight of Swords here. Yeah, so we may be telling ourselves stories that we like to hear, that others would like to hear. But when the justice energy is in, it's like that's the moment of truth, you know? This is the point where everything comes to light and you're seeing things for what they are. Feminines, wow, speaking of major arcanas, look at that. Like I was saying at the beginning, big times, guys, big times are happening, and I'll start putting more of that into my blog, or at least in my newsletter. I started, if you're subscribed to my newsletter, I started doing little blobs with the astrology events. And I don't really have capacity to record videos about it, but I might be doing blog posts so that if you're interested, then you can go and read some more stuff about it. So, we have the Fool and the Temperance. The Fool, I mean, they are very interesting even in terms of the numbers here. But I would just say, to me, both of them are about inner balance. They're about like finding a way to like this inner comfort and place of safety, you know, that you can, you know, find just based on the outside situation, outside world. It's something that you nurture within, so that whatever happens on the outside, you still can find that place of safety in a good way, you know, and you can ground into it. That's the root chakra, really. Right? And Temperance is kind of helping, and both of these are major arcana, so it means that the universe is getting you to that place where you advance your skills of feeling good in your skin and feeling good in the, you know, energy and the environment that you're in. And it doesn't mean that you're accepting everything. It's like, yeah, like this is how it's supposed to be. It's more about no matter what happens, and it could be something terrifying, it could be something that makes me angry, it could be heartbreaking, I can still find that baseline for myself, right? The Temperance helps alchemize the energy between masculine and feminine, passive and active, doing and being, and generally being patient, right? And not pushing things and rushing things. The Fool, if you think about it, it's a similar energy. The Fool doesn't want to like push, you know, the people, places, situations around. It's just like, okay, I'll just trust the universe, right? And so I don't need to really put a lot of effort into changing the reality around me. I'm just curious and I'm gonna find out. Oh my god, another two major arcana, and look at that. For masculines, we see the Lovers and the Tower. Oof, didn't want this reading to be too long, but yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. Guess what? And I love that there is like the lotus flower here. The Lovers card in this deck is very, what's it called? It's about, like, it's very spiritual. It is about finding like the bigger purpose and where you stand with this, and what does the love in your life, or how you love, or how you are loved, actually defines you. Like, what does it tell you about your story and who you are, right? It's that angle, very interesting angle. It's about the existential crisis to some extent, especially with the Tower here, because it hits masculines one day that something that was a very deeply rooted stereotype in their life about relationships, love, whatever, just gets appended. And they're like, oh my God, that was a belief. That was just a story. They may be using other words, but it's like, that's not really true. Well, it's not always like that. There's a completely different world out there. And I was limiting myself to just like seeing, you know, what I'm ready for. Going for those relationships where I know what to expect, right? This is like the big heart opening I'm hearing actually with this, especially with this card, where it shakes up the reality that masculines were living in before. Additional question for today, 6 of inspiration clarified by Chariot. So we're moving forward, the twins are moving forward to shining their light, to showing up more fully in the world and sharing more of themselves, right? This is the spotlight, this is the movement forward. And we are collaborating with the universe there. But what do we need to know at this time about this journey? For the feminines, 9 of emotions, 8 of, well, emotions reading. So the feminine, based on what they don't want, they can actually understand more what they want. And it is very important when you're moving into that sharing of yourself into the spotlight, into implementing your mission and purpose, as you see, to focus on what you want, you know, but do not ignore what you don't want or what happened in your life that you didn't like, because it's like the yin and yang of the matter, and you need to acknowledge both, and you need to be able to share about both, even if in the moment it might be embarrassing, scary, you may feel foolish, whatever. It is important. Look at that. For the masculines, we see Queen of Voices clarified, well, basically 3 of Voices. They're both sword cards. And we saw Queen of Swords actually in one of the recent readings. But what I'm getting here, especially as we are talking about mission and purpose on the masculine side, that, and this, I love that this is the card of heart healing, right? But what we're saying that the masculines need to move forward with more authentic, more honest expression. And yes, again, the heart. Again, we're going into the heart space. The heart needs more healing. And then you'll be able to live that life authentically easier. You won't have to think too much about it. You won't have to struggle choosing the words or upsetting someone. It will be just part of your reality, right? You won't have to like do a lot of filtering between what you feel like in the moment and then what you decide to do with it or what you decide to say out loud. It will be a more coherent experience. So keep healing the heart, masculines. You're doing great. How are the feminines feeling about the connection at this time? We see 2 of Swords clarified by 7 of Swords. Both cards of doubt and not necessarily seeing how this can unfold naturally, right? It's also lack of trust in the process. So right now there's a bit of a desperation, maybe because of lack of progress in the physical. But remember, divine feminines, that right now is like this moment where it's your ability to connect with the ether. It's your ability to embrace who you are and where you stand in the world. And a lot of times it's important actually to be in that space of your baseline safety, right? And that's what we talked about. So use your discernment to see if further communication with the masculine, especially if it hasn't been easy, if that will still keep you in that space where you are grounded, you're balanced, when you can stay safe and you can be creative and explore and you know, reach out and be authentic. If it doesn't, then maybe this is just not the best time right now. For the masculines, we see Ace of Inspiration clarified by Queen of Swords. Of course we do. So we have a synchronicity now for the masculines. Yeah, so this Queen of Swords is actually that little voice I'm hearing on the back of the head of divine masculines that have a lot of passion, a lot of attraction for the feminines, but this critical voice keeps stopping them, keeps telling them, criticizing them, and like, you aren't gonna pull it off. Or even, this person is gonna take advantage of you when you least expect it. Like, what happened last time we fell in love. Something along those lines. So that's the inner conflict that masculines are dealing with. But as they heal the heart, the Queen of Swords expression is going to be more authentic and in line with the internal space, with the heart space, more than head space. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm gonna stop it here until it just gets out of control lengthwise. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.